Everyone, you're watching Good for the Game TV, and this is our Stage 13 preview of the Tour de France. It's an individual time trial, 27.5 kilometers, a bit of a lumpy route. We'll have a look at the betting and see if we can find a winner there. We'll also wrap up what happened on Stage 12 and take a look at the latest outright betting. If you're a Tour de France fan, if you're a sports fan or a betting fan, and you're not on our channel yet, then go down below the video and hit the subscribe button. Let's go to yesterday, though, and as predicted, this ended up being one for the breakaway. The GC guys were more than content just to let the break get away. Credit to Kunik Quick-Step. They certainly kept the break in check, that it didn't run out of control. But in the end, it was three members of the break that fought out the stage win. Simon Yates eventually getting the better of Bilbao and Mühlberger in a three-man sprint there. I must say, heartbreaking for me. I was on Bilbao at 45-1. If you've been following these videos, you'll know I will desperately need a winner in the Tour de France. I really am battling. I've got to say, it's been a great route so far from the organizers. These stages have been generally unpredictable. But I had something like 5 guys. I think 4 out of my 5 guys were in the break yesterday. But Bilbao coming the closest, but none of them able to deliver. Still having great fun. And I must admit, for me, cycling betting is more about fun than anything else. My stake is much smaller than rugby, for example. But still, come on, guys. It is nice to hit a nice long price winner every now and again. Plenty of time in this tour, though, so let's hope, like some of the GC men are chasing Team Ineos at the moment, that we can get something to happen. Let's go and have a look at the outright betting after yesterday. As you would expect, no impact on the general classification. I'm going on to a world sports betting site here. And this is ahead, of course, of the time trial today. 13-20 Geraint Thomas. Just under 4-1 Egan Bernal at 15-4. And then Quintana pushed out again to 20-1. The guy's done absolutely nothing wrong, but he keeps on getting pushed out. But fair enough. After today, he's probably going to be a good 2 to 2.5 minutes behind Thomas, and he's going to have it all to do. Alaphilippe, 20-1. Yep, you can expect a decent ride from him today, but I think from tomorrow, he's going to go backwards. Got a massive climb. I think it's the finishing on the Col de Tourmalet there tomorrow. That is going to be a very, very good stage indeed. Adam Yates, his brother winning the stage yesterday, he's 25-1. Price 528, and you can get 35-1 and better the balance. Today, of course, is going to be a big day for the GC men. There are going to be time gaps. I don't expect too much of a shake-up in the betting unless, for example, someone either wipes out really badly or goes a lot better than expected. For example, I would say that Thomas's time trial, the fact that he's going to probably put time into all of his rivals, is largely built into his price already. If he certainly had a bad ride, he would drift. And if he does win it by some crazy distance, yes, he will shorten probably to about the 5 to 10 mark. Let's have a quick look at the Stage 13 profile. It's 27.2 kilometers. It's quite lumpy at the beginning and quite a lot of twists and turns. And I would recommend you go to Will Newton's Twitter page at Inside Peloton 96. He's previewed this. He's pinned it to the top of his page so you won't miss it. You just click on the thread itself and you'll see that he writes underneath. So he starts with a profile. And he goes into quite a lot of distance in terms of looking at where the climbs are, where the sharp turns are, because that is something on a time trial bike that's not always that easy to handle. He puts a lot of effort into these previews. The bottom line, what I've taken out of Will's preview here, is that the first 18 to 19 kilometers are far from straightforward. Plenty of climbs, plenty of turns, and it may not suit your pure power time trialer. But the last 8.5 kilometers are pure sort of flat road, and the power men are going to get it on there. So it's going to be very interesting to see how it happens. And let's have a look at the betting on the actual stage itself, and we can see who is fancy to take it out. Here's the Stage 13 winner. Wout van Aert, who's already won a stage in this Tour de France. He was brilliant in the individual time trial and the Dauphine and the build-up to the Tour de France. And this guy really is an absolute gem of a cyclist, certainly in my view, a world champion in the making. I must say one thing, though, about him. He is 6-10. This is obviously his first sort of grand tour start. He's been riding for a while, as Kevin Turner mentioned in the Good for the Game forum. But also for me, he's had to work quite hard. He's done a lot of lead-outs. He's obviously won stages. He's worked really hard. And for me, 6-10 is a little bit short. I can't be having that. Let's go down in the betting. We've got Thomas at 11-4. Now, of all the GC men, Thomas is expected to go the best. He can handle the rolling sort of hills at the start, and he's also good on the flat as well. So Thomas certainly has shown us nothing to suggest that he isn't pretty close to his best at the moment, and he looks a worthy second favourite there, 11-4. Tony Martin, once a beast in the time trials, would have been probably the 6-10 for this a few years ago. Not quite the rider he was, but we can expect a good ride from him. He certainly seems to have had a new lease on life since moving teams and going over to Jumbo. He's 14 to 1. Casper Askreen. Now, this is Will Newton's fancy, and he is a powerhouse, this quick step rider. He's a 14 to 1. The one thing I will say against him, he's been working very hard in this tour so far, protecting the likes of Alaphilippe in the jersey, so he may battle a bit there. I don't know how you pronounce this guy's name, but Soren Krach Anderson, he's 20 to 1. I quite like his chances. He's shown up recently with some good time trials. I think he could have a chance. Stefan Kung, always good in the time trial. There is a thought this might be a little bit hilly for him. And Lampard also, I think it might be a little bit hilly. I might be looking for some match bets. Chad Hager, quite a few of the boys, the Van and Katie in the forum fancy him a bit. And I think he delivered for the Van at a nice price in the Giro, if I remember correctly. Alaphilippe, 33 to 1. I can't see him winning the time trial, but I do think he will hang on to yellow. I'm expecting an inspired ride from Alaphilippe. Be careful about the likes of Kwiatkowski, because I think there's a good chance that Sky tell them to soft pedal. What's that on the right-hand side, you're asking me? Well, that's my betting slip for my weekend accumulator that I send on the weekly newsletter. This one mainly involving, in fact, totally involving rugby. I will put a link to both the Tour de France newsletter and the weekly betting newsletter. If any of you are interested, it's totally free and just a little bit of fun corresponding with people on cycling and betting. As a matter of interest, that multiple works out to just under 5.5 to 1. So let's hope it arrives, because certainly I'm not banking on my cycling right at the moment. That's it then as far as this Tour de France. Well, let's go to my bets. I'm jumping the gun there a little bit. Let's go across and have a look. I'm on the Good for the Game forum here. And as I say here, I'm actually not a massive fan of the ITT. I do enjoy it, and I'll be watching it with interest. But from a betting perspective, it's not one of my favorite events. I'm really looking forward to the mountains. But I'm going 2 units Thomas Win at 11 to 4 with World Sports Betting. The reasoning is I do think he's a big runner today. He's obviously going to be going for it. I think Van Aert might be a little bit tired, and I don't think there's going to necessarily be much between the pair. Also, with WSB, if you back him for the win and he runs second, you do get your money back in the form of free bet. The RT and C's on their website, but essentially, as long as you basically can't draw the money out straight away, you need to play it, which is no problem for me. So 11 to 4 there, and money back for second. I'm gonna have a look at the match bets, but nothing particularly jumps out for me at the moment. Guys, thanks very much. It's going to be a cracking weekend. I will have a video out on Saturday morning for stage 14, which is going to be a belter. Stage 15 on Sunday, also going to be an incredible stage. And really, we are set up for a great finish to the tour. Perhaps selfishly, given that I'm on Quintana and probably just wanted an exciting tour, and I'm hoping that Ineos show some signs of weakness, although I'm not that confident of it, if I must be honest. But thanks very much for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and I will put a link up to our rugby betting show, The Handicap, just in the corner here, and also a subscribe button that you can hit and subscribe to the show. Enjoy the tour.